Hello, this is Amer Qureshi. Welcome to my video blog Kamyabi, where we help you unlock the door to success. We're filming this series here in a very trendy new coffee shop called The Warehouse in Islamabad in Jinnah Supermarket, where the coffee is actually very, very nice. And I'm joined by my friend and colleague Madhiya. Madhiya, how do you find the coffee here?
It's excellent. I'm loving the vibe of this coffee shop.
It's a new place, it's nice, it's happening, it's hip, and it's very unusual the way they've decorated the place. So you'll find me often in this place from now on. Now let's talk about money and finance, and I know you run your own business as well. How do you deal with finance and accounting?
I think one of the biggest challenges that, I'm going to throw the question back at you because is how to manage the account and finance for a startup that is just setting off. So as a startup, what are the key things that one needs to consider when looking at the accounts or the financial side of running a small business?
That's very interesting actually to talk about the fact that whether you're a big business or a small business, accounting and finance बहुत critical होता है. So as a small business, and even if there is not a lot happening, you still need to have a basic system ताकि आपके accounts जो हैं वो manage हो सकें. So you need to keep a record of what's coming in and what's going out. And as you may have heard me say before, cash in must be more than cash out or you'll be on your way out. So you need a basic system. And even if you cannot be bothered creating a proper system like QuickBooks or Peachtree or mind your own business, even a simple spreadsheet in the initial days is enough. But you must have a system. You must systemize the bookkeeping, otherwise you'll be lost.
So we understand there's revenue and then there is expense. So these are the two main things to consider when I started my business and I formed the sheet, the spreadsheet. What are some of the other heads to look out for?
Well, income and expenses are obviously two things, but then there is a whole capital side of it, which is the capital that you need to start the business off, with which you're going to invest in either creating your brand or buying fixed assets, depending on the type of business you're going to start. So if it's a coffee shop like the one we're sitting in, a lot of investment goes in setting this business up. So the equipment, the decor and everything, and you need funding for that. So you need to have another category, of course, which is the capital additions or the fixed assets. So that's an important category, and depending on the type of business, that will or will not be significant.
Why do startups struggle so much when it comes to managing their money?
Well, I suppose when you're developing an app or creating a new software, etc., you need to have a skill set to be able to do that. So as an accountant, I couldn't write a software program. I could not develop an app. Similarly, you have to realize that accounting is a skill, and you need to have people who are experienced and qualified to do that. So you need to have people who can do the basic bookkeeping, and often the startups are just too busy to even think about it, let alone outsourcing or employing someone to do the bookkeeping. So the first thing is they have to have someone dedicated to doing this work. Now it doesn't have to be a full-time person, part-time person रख सकते हैं या किसी firm को outsource कर सकते हैं. The cost is minimal, but the benefits are really great from doing proper accounting and bookkeeping.
Where can a startup who's just setting up their processes can get more information regarding accounting and finance and make it and plan it in a much better and smoother way?
I suppose the best place to start is to listen to one of my podcasts on this subject. I've actually created a podcast, or they can read the A to Z of Healthy Small Business or Succeeding in Your Business. All of them cover accounting systems in quite a lot of detail, and the basic systems that you need, और उसके साथ साथ what areas to focus on. Because obviously we're talking about small businesses, we're not talking about large companies with very complex systems. But still, the financial information needs to be collected, it needs to be interpreted and analyzed. Otherwise, कोई फायदा नहीं है उसका. Because you don't collect this data just to prepare or file your tax returns. There's a lot of information that you can get from a management perspective. So, they can start with those 2 or 3 things that I just mentioned.
Let's talk about some of the accounting and financial issues that startups face in Pakistan.
Well, Pakistan में जो I suppose सारा आपका system है with FBR, which is the authority which is supposed to collect taxes, and then there is the SCCP जो companies को regulate करती है. the process is not as streamlined or as smooth as it is in other countries. So the startups still need to deal with FBR, they need to file their taxation returns and so on. इसके साथ जो accounting firms हैं, they're generally not that focused on startups. They don't feel like they can add value, or they're really not willing to take these clients up because the fee structure is very, very low. So there are two challenges, I suppose. You have to still file returns with FBR, and you need a firm to help you do that. Without that firm, you would struggle to meet the requirements. And once the business becomes more successful, फिर आपके पास और भी issues होते हैं. Without going into details, but essentially, it's difficult to deal with organizations like the FBR and so on.
I was reading in the newspaper that Pakistan has not been keeping the books properly.
IMF और World Bank जो है इस वक्त पाकिस्तान की accounts की scrutiny कर रहे हैं because they believe Pakistan may not have been keeping its books properly. और जिसको कहते हैं, another term that we use is creative accounting. Pakistan government may have been involved in creative accounting, which is not to allocate expenditure in the right categories, or maybe जो revenue आया है उसको incorrectly categorize किया गया है. Now, this is quite embarrassing for a country to have been caught out doing this, if indeed this is the case. At this stage तो अभी suggestion ही हुआ है और inquiries हो रही हैं, but it would be very, very embarrassing for Pakistan as a country if our accounts are not properly kept. हम तो small business की बात कर रहे थे. Here is a country, a whole country with its own ministry and so on, whose job it is to keep the finances. And if they haven't done it properly, then I think something needs to be done. Heads should definitely roll if this is the case. Well, I hope you enjoyed this interaction between Madhiya and myself talking about finance, accounting, and so on for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining me for my video blog Kamyabi, where we help you unlock the door to success. We will see you next time.